Real quick, I want to do a fair use. Yeah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To your sisters, your Achwathim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Ram Yahawada with the lesson. Yeah, the SNAP benefits will soon be tried to error rates. These states are in big trouble, right? This was 2 days ago, the Hill, right? States have been put on notice. Stop making so many mistakes or lose funding for food assistance. Starting with the 2028 fiscal year, states will, with an error rate higher than 6%, will start losing federal funding for the supplement nourishment assistance program, right? Or that's what SNAP means, right? Abbreviated or whatever. It says if the reform were to take effect immediately, only 8 states would make the cut to receive full funding, right? Trying to see if I can, let me see if I can get that to. Let me see, hold on. Nah? I said nah. Okay.
but that is also unlikely to pass. The House has not even convened. Bill Monday for the 11th time. Democrats say they're still holding out for an extension to healthcare subsidies that are set to expire. Republicans are expected to put forward a bill to pay only troops and essential federal employees, but that is also unlikely to pass. The House has not even convened since the shutdown started. State health officials say food assistance could be cut off for millions if the government does not reopen in a few days.
Ticia Muzinga joins us in studio with a look at the concerning situation. Ticia.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Lawmakers have less than a week to reopen the government before state agencies say the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, could impact families ahead of the holidays. The U.S. Department of Agriculture sent a letter to state agencies on Friday. It said there will not be enough funds to pay November SNAP program if the government shutdown continues past October 27th. The program provides help for 42 million people across the country. Clarissa Clark with the North Texas Food Bank says they already had a game plan before the government shutdown, but she also says she anticipates every area will see an increase of people if SNAP benefits don't come next month. Luckily, we were able to purchase our USDA food through December in September, so we will get our food. It's going to just put more pressure on our agency partners who are already seeing big increases because of the high cost of living. The North Texas Food Bank covers 12 counties and has 500 agencies, partners that help distribute food to those in need. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are receiving backlash from withholding SNAP benefits. Now, other assistance programs to help families in need, such as Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program, are not impacted by the shutdown. For Good Day, I'm Ticia Muzinga.
All right, Ticia, thanks. Frisco ISD is closing Staley Middle School at the end of this academic year.
Yeah, it says Trump betrays American farmers, but not just American, all Americans. Betray all Americans, right?
As a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world. They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition. And then the Chinese buy, I think the figure is 30 or 40 containers, ships, which is about 65,000 metric tons per ship, which is like 2.2 million bushels. So they buy 12 or 14 billion dollars worth of soybeans from the Argentinians after the tax holiday. And here's the caveat to it. They give $2.30 over the November board, while I'm getting 50 cents under the November board. So that makes the Argentinian soybeans about $12.42 a bushel. I think that's the real figure they gave. So all my premium, well,
Scott, I just lost you there at the end. You said your premiums go?
They all went to Argentina.
So this is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 4. It says, "And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord." Hey, and that's Donald Trump, man. He's showing you that he's the cruel Lord. And he's looking you dead in your face, shaking the president of Argentina's hand, handing over 20 million and 20 billion or whatever it is, that money that was supposed to go to the American farmers that will benefit America, or you Egyptians, basically, because that's right, America's also spiritually known as Egypt, for you Egyptians, right? You Babylonians, you Egyptians, right? Because it's also known spiritually as the daughter of Babylon, right? But the whole point is what? Yahweh, right? And his infinite wisdom, right, was going to allow you to vote him in, because you're thinking, yeah, this is our chance to bring back white supremacy. We could rule over these jakes, right? But what you ain't understanding, that he don't care about you either, right? So the Lord said, "And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord and a fierce king," right? And that's how Trump is portraying himself, right? They say something about he did an AI. I didn't see it yet. Had an AI thing with him flying a plane saying King Trump with a crown on and all that stuff with a F around and find out. And that's what you're doing. You're effing around and finding out, right? That you have a cruel Lord and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Adawan, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai of hosts, which means armies. Yeah, because that's really the Lord's. He's controlling the mind of the king. It's the Lord's army. All this is all orchestrated for the Lord's will, right? That's what Trump don't realize. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up, right? Which I believe a lot of these because they keep talking about, oh my God, this is drought. You're in drought. You're in drought. I believe they're pumping a lot of that water out into containers and taking it to their underground bunkers or shipping it into that Cheyenne Mountain, right? Because when have you ever, I mean, the Mississippi dry up? What? Right? Doesn't make sense. All these different lakes and rivers and things around America, they all of a sudden they're drying up. And you haven't seen a real super drought or because every state would have to not have any rain, and every state would have to just have this rate dried, and there's no way that's happening. But yet the water is dissipating from where? How? Right? The elites they're pumping it out. They got some secret underground thing, somehow, and they're pumping it out and they're shipping it away. Right? So they can go, filter it and clean it, so that way they'll be good when it's time. I'm just speaking as a man. Allegedly, these things possibly could happen. I don't know, right? Just what is it called? What did they say? Inquiring minds would want to know. If I'm saying a thinking person would want to know. That's you should be a thinking person. But hey, a lot of people are not. They're not thinkers. See, that's why they just voted for somebody who has no true credibility as a politician or as a human being. You know what I mean? But hey, why not? We love them. It says, and they shall turn the rivers far away. Right? See, that's my thought. They're pumping them out. They're doing it. It's a man-made, just like the man-made famine that they're doing it. You think he just talked to the president of China and had a good long conversation. All of a sudden, you come back and F that, and that's 100% tariffs. And da-da-da-da. What happened to that nice conversation that you just had with him? Right? Or was the conversation, hey, I'm gonna act like I'm doing this and that. I don't really mean it. I'm gonna say a bunch of stuff about you, but it's not gonna really be real. I'm just gonna say these things and then put the tariffs and you put the tariffs, and then I'm gonna turn around and bail out Argentina, and we're gonna make it look like, well, it's China's fault, right? Because you could just redirect it, try to redirect the energy somewhere else, right? And that's and as you go, the brooks of defense. So the food, the soybeans, the food, the things that they grow, the money that you were gonna have for a defense, and in the coming time, you ain't gonna have it, right? The brooks of defense shall be empty, right? So the water that's gonna happen too soon. You ain't even gonna be able to grow any soybean because you ain't gonna have the water to grow it, right? Shall be empty and dried up, right? And the reeds and the flags shall wither, right? And that's the time that you're coming in, man. Right? And it's all the great reset, ultimately. Yeah, the what says the paper reads by the brooks. Yeah, because normally that's water. Water, how you could farm, like being, what do they call it? Like the irrigation. You use that to irrigate, put the water in these certain areas and things like that. Yeah, grow your crops. But pretty soon, your crops are not coming in, and then pretty soon you ain't gonna have no water. But even then, like, that's the craziest thing they let you do. You wasted water to grow soybeans that you don't have nowhere to sell it. So we're already in a water crisis as it is, right? So instead of saying, look, I don't got nothing for you. Your overage, your overhead, your everything is going to Argentina. And all the money you waste and all the water you wasted with a bunch of soybeans. Now you're sitting over there with a bunch of soybeans, and you have no place for all these soybeans to go. Right? And everything sown by the brooks, everything that was sown by that water shall wither and be driven away and be no more, right? And that's what they plan on doing. So everybody's dependent on getting their food and everything from the government, which is going to force you, or cause you to get the charagma, right? Right, the mark of the beast. Yeah, so this is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 18. See, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning. So now we know where we're at now. We're at the beginning. We're at the beginning of sorrows, because you can hear people complaining. Oh my God, the grocery stores, this and that. They're getting on TikTok or YouTube or whatever they got there, whatever social media, Facebook, whatever they are on, IG, whatever, and they're complaining. And that's part of that. So the beginning of sorrows, and that's the time we're in. So now we're seeing that because the Lord said, measure the time diligently. So through the scriptures, you're measuring, right? It's the measuring time. So we're in the beginning of sorrows and great mourning. The beginning of what? Of famine, right? So as you see that, soybeans, the farmers, they're taking. They had just went to Trump saying they're taking a hit and they need help. Trump went in there smiling. Like he was, oh well, come on in, farmers. Yeah, you're so great. You're my Trumpers, aren't you? You're my Trump. Yes, you are my Trumpers. Yeah, I love my poorly educated. He love you. He love you. You're poorly educated, right? Because he's gonna give all your funds, all your money, and all your funding to Argentina for no apparent reason. It's not like they're gonna back you up militarily. It's not like they're giving you some type of import or something that's going to benefit you. You're just giving away free money, but for no apparent reason, because this dude's probably a small hat, and the small hats told him to do it. That's it. That's all. No real rhyme or reason, because small hats they act like they're smart, but that small hat is not wrapped too tight, right? Because you're saying these are goyim and they're just slaves and they're just cattle. Well, you have to take care of your cattle. How do you rule over something and not have no one to rule over, right? It doesn't make sense. But great mournings, the beginning of famines, and great death, right? And that's ultimately what's happening right now. Great deaths, right? They just had a big flood in Mexico that wiped away 12,000 people and counting, right? You have in these car crashes. What was it, like Atlanta or something? They had a big old car crash. Diesels and think we're sliding into each other. Blah, blah. Diesels, cars. And then you 2 or 3 diesels coming in and then smashing into those cars. Ah, man. It's crazy out here. Great death. The beginning of war, right? And that's what Trump is doing. Right off the coast of Venezuela. Right here in America. And then on top of that, you're beefing with Russia. You're beefing with China. With Iran. Because, of course, the least of the flock is going to draw you out. Bro. Says, and the power shall stand in fear, right? And eventually, hey, you're going to realize this is all the Most High's plan. And, hey, man, great destruction is coming to this place, man. For you ones that's in power, right? Yeah, you get to flee to your bunkers and your Cheyenne Mountains and, your space stations and, outer space retreats, your space stations and, your underwater bunkers. And, hey, why everybody else has to suffer, but what you don't understand is this is all, ends to a mean. Yeah, you got to kill these other people because they got their judgment, but it's all to rush you to those bunkers so you could get your judgment, falling right into the hands of the Most High. It says, right, you're gonna be in fear, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils, right? It said, what shall I do when these evils shall come, right? What are you to do? Especially you being an Israelite. Where you better be repenting, right? Getting the proper understanding, proper doctrine, and putting that to practice, right? It says, behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention, famine and pestilence. Plagues, which is pestilence to plagues, right? Going into the race wars, disease, and ultimately the missiles, the plagues, different forms of plagues, right? The race wars is going to be a plague. A famine is a plague, right? If you think about it, famine is a plague. Great deaths at a major high level is a plague, right? Right? Tribulation, anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, right? To get you into correction. So, for you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, you better correct what you're doing, right? Because this is ultimately the time of judgment. You hear me? The commonly said Judgment Day. Well, you're in it. You're in Judgment Day. I don't know if you know that or not. This is Judgment Day. Every day you wake up from now until the missiles are shot off from one end of the earth into the other, this is Judgment Day, right? And it's for an amendment, which means to correct you, right? Right? This is all to get you in line so you can get corrected and serve the power the way you're supposed to. For all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness. See? And a lot of people they're just going to do their own thing. But you got to have enough fear in your heart to be like, not me. Not so much. I'm not. Hey, I ain't finna die the death of the wicked, man. Please, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Babakusha, 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 Salakia, Kata, Yamya. Hey, basically, forgive me for all my sins, man. So you want the Lord to forgive you for all your sins. Hey, man, you want to be on the righteous path of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? Nor be always mindful, right? See, la'ab, your mind, right? Their mind ain't right. Right? And that's what the Lord's finna attack. Right? Like I keep saying it, that mental health is gonna go through the roof. The Lord is finna, because you wasn't mindful. You wasn't mindful of the scourges. Right? the troubles, right? You can see it. This is national news. Yeah, Trump shafted us again. The America first don't seem like America first. Seemed like Israel first. Now it seemed like Argentina first. Seemed like Ukraine first. Right? You know? Behold, wait, yeah, right. Behold, victuals, right? The food you're eating shall be so good, cheap upon the earth that they think themselves to be in good case. Oh yeah, man, let's vote for Trump. Everything's gonna be good. Everything, and they thought everything was gonna be in good case, right? Even with all this thing, when he showed up with all them billionaires, I knew it wasn't good. I was like, oh yeah, we're in trouble. You're in trouble. And I say we because I'm here in a sense, but of course I'm trusting in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? But definitely the Lord just said it was going to be great tribulations, right? So we're all going to have to go through it. You know what I mean? So hopefully the Lord is on my side, Lord willing, But a lot of you people, so you thought the victuals, because the victuals, it says, behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. The victuals, right? You had the food market, everything was good. All of a sudden, the storehouses was filled. Then you had CV19, and the storehouses was empty. And then technically, they're still pretty much empty, even though there's what do you call it? Supply chain seems like it's kind of moving. But they're still pretty empty. If you go to any stores, they're not full like they used to be, right? Cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth. Sword, what? Famine, and people are killing each other. All of a sudden, there's all these little race fights breaking out. These race fights, it's black and white, and all these different things is happening, right? Sword, famine, and great confusion. You're confused. Wait a minute, what happened to America first? I'm confused. Wait. And this is the place of confusion, Babylon, confusion, right? So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. See, they've sown these crops. They had to fill the heartland of America, right? And now it's almost like they were sown. But now it's like you have no place to sell them. You have no place to sell all this stuff, right? Because no one came and bought it, right? Your biggest buyer, which is China, bought it from Argentina, which you didn't even have a backup buyer. You just banked everything. What happened to don't put all your things in one basket? I mean, that's ultimately what all you farmers did. You just relied on the government and relied on their ability to have so-called market trade with a certain country instead of you being a true farmer and you search out for buyers for your own self, right? Whatever country or whatever, you don't have time to wait on the government to decide if they want to help sell your goods, right? That's on you. And you put far too much trust in this place, and then the Lord gave you over to a cruel Lord. See, it's been good. I mean, you had a lot to say about Biden, but at the end of the day, he didn't do this. which he eventually he would have, right? Because this is all the bidding of the elite, right? To where it basically forces you, it calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, because no matter, even if you are rich, your money means nothing if there's no food to eat. How can you buy? You can have all the money in the world if the suddenly the sown places appear unsown. So you got all this money, but there's nothing to buy it with. Right? There's no crops. The water's dried up. The crops are dried up. Right? Or even the opportunities are dried up, right? Because, you use that as a, as a metaphor, right? Because it's kind of like the opportunity, the opportunity that they have is dried up, right? So now they're sitting over there with so many metric tons of soybean, and it's going nowhere. What do you do with that now? All right. So it says, the full storehouses shall suddenly be empty, right? And we noticed that in the CV19, like I was saying before, and pretty much you're about to experience that again soon, right? Because you got given over to a cruel Lord. It says, and the trump shall sound, shall give a sound, and the trump shall give a sound, right? And, hey, there you go. You got a trump, and he's giving a certain sound, but it's not. It sounds like it's a sound you want to hear. America first, America first, but he's not truly singing that song, right? Which this is just showing you that it's the last time, right? The last days, right? Trump shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid, right? And that's the coming of our Lord. And at that time, right, because this is where you at. And at that time, shall friends fight one against another like enemies, right? And the earth shall stand in fear, and those that dwell therein shall spring of the fountains. Those that dwell therein, the springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. See, there ain't gonna be any water, right? So people gonna be fighting this and that. There ain't gonna be no water, no food, no nothing. You know what I mean? Whosoever remaineth from all these things that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world, right? Since the end of Esau's world, right? Yeah, so this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 57 says, thy children shall die of hunger, right? It's the time you're living in, where these the storehouses are empty. They have these different factories and food factories and things that's burning up, and what was it? Not too long ago, had 100 food factories burn up in 1 year. All 100 of them, and that's all supposed to be coincidence, right? All just by happenstance, right? Then you had the fires in Hawaii, had the fires in California, and all this is just accidental. So all you just need is old Trump in office, and everything's gonna be okay, right? Yeah, right. America first, right? Yeah, not so much, right? It says, thou shall fall through the sword, right? Yeah, so I just pulled up, the definition of through, which normally you figure, yeah, I know what through means, but I mean, this kind of gives you like a more of a like a clearer view, more of a, and it says through. It says moving in one side and out of the other, right? And that's basically like a sword going through you, going in you, and out of you. But it's what? An opening, a channel, or a location. So you could be, a sword going through you, thrusting through you, going in you and out of you. You're going to die by the sword going through you, but also you'll be going through these different locations. You might be going through, from one place to another because all these calamities. So you're trying to get away from whatever is happening over there, but then you fall through to another sword, right? Because friends and neighbors shall fight each other like enemies, right? For the lack of bread, right? For the lack of food. And those are the things that's going to be happening, right? She's going through, says she walked through the doorway into the living room. So you may walk through one city, going into another city, or at least trying to, right? During time of, may even be martial law, but you're trying to sneak through, trying to get some type of help or some type of rest, and there ain't going to be anything found. Yeah. So it says, see, thy cities shall be broken down. So if your city's broken down, you may try to go to the next place because, you even see those in those apocalyptic movies, right? One kind of comes to mind is that Walking Dead, right? I guess the thing started in Atlanta. The dude left Atlanta, went to some other place, went to another place, and they just kept traveling these different cities. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. But there's a lot of them that's like that. They try to travel to another city, hoping that city haven't failed yet, and there's some type of help. What was it? Dang, I like that movie too. Trying to think of the name of it because it's in my mind. It's the one with the umbrella, right? Damn, trying to think of it. I haven't seen it in a while. I used to watch the thing all the time. Resident Evil, yeah, there you go, Resident Evil. And they were traveling from city to city, trying to find what city that wasn't collapsed, or trying to find a place where there were people who maybe they survived and, they have no gun and, whatever, because they tell you there's safety in numbers, but then there's trouble in numbers too, right? I mean, that's the thing you have to think of. There is safety in numbers, but there's also trouble in numbers too. So that thy city shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish. So all your neighbors, your friends, everything. Because when friends are fighting each other like enemies, chances they're going to perish with the sword in the field, right? In the world, the field. They're going to just die. The Lord said there should be like dung upon the earth. No one's going to bury him or lament for him. There's going to be so much fighting and chaos. No one has time to, let's go ahead, because no one's going to be civilized really like that, So they that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, right? and eat their own, right? See, when you going into, yeah, you done completely lost your mind, right? Now you're no longer talking ish about McDonald's. You finna make that McDonald's at your house, right? Eat their own flesh, right? And drink their own bloods, right? For very hunger of bread and thirst of water, right? That's the time that you're about to be living in, right? Yeah. So it's 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition amongst men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cause or the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right? So a man shall desire, right, to go into a city and shall not be able. When your cities are broken down, you're going to try to go into another city, and you may not be quite able to go into the next city, right? Because people are getting killed left and right, right? So, and you may try to go into the next, and then that's when you go through the sword. You'll find your way going through to another city, and that's where you find the sword, and that's when you'll fall. You'll die there, right? Shall not be able, right? It says, but because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, right? The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So it's going to be such a time that, hey, even the greatest, toughest man is going to be afraid. So how much more for you women? If a man's going to be afraid, right? It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, right? Any type of food, any type of provision, right? Because, I mean, if you're hungry enough to eat your own family members or your own neighbors, you know what I'm saying? You're definitely hungry enough to steal what they have, right? To eat, right? And spoil their goods. Hey, maybe you steal it. You steal their goods, kill, and then you eat them. You eat them for food. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And drink their water and their wine or whatever they have stored up. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Spoil their goods because of the lack of what? Of bread and great tribulation. And that's the time that we're living in heavily. So this is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 14. And it shall be as a chase roe. And a roe is basically like a deer. And being hunted, you hunt down the deer. You know, it's like a form of chasing it. You're not running after it, but you're constantly stalking it. It's like a chase. You're following it, right? So you can kill it. And some of you will be basically like Chase Rowe, right? When people are hungry enough to eat a person, you will be like Chase Rowe. You'll be like a deer. You're gonna get hunted down. They're gonna stalk you. They're gonna take slow, and they're gonna be in certain different angles and try to be into the trees and the bushes, and you know what I'm saying, camouflage themselves so they can get you. Should be like Chase Rowe, right? As a sheep that no man taketh up, right? And then now, because the government and your cities collapse, there's no 911. You can't call, hello, 911, I need help. No, they should not regard their kings and princes. They're not thinking about, oh yeah, I'm finna go to prison, I'm gonna go to jail. I mean, people do heinous stuff right now when you can go to jail and prison, when they can give you several life sentences and people are doing weird things, you know what I mean? How much more when the city is broken down and there is no police, right? Right. Now what? That no man taketh up, right? There's no protection for you. They shall every man turn to his own people. So there ain't no choice, right? Like I said, there's safety in numbers. So you might have to go unto your own people for safety, but at the same time, there's trouble amongst people too. I mean, if they're talking about this whole bullying thing is a big deal. How much more in that time when there's no people to tell you, stop bullying. Don't do that. Everybody deserves a trophy. See, now you're going to come into a time where you actually needed to tough these people up because a horrible time was coming. And they need to know trophies don't go out to everybody. Only the strongest and the fittest survives. Right? It's not about everybody get a trophy. But because this is a society that you all thought it was great to live in, but now it's going to go to its ultimate collapse. Cities are going to be broken down. There ain't going to be a way you can call the police. No man taketh up. No one's there to protect you. Right? And yeah, every man should turn to his own people. You're going to go to your own people, and flee everyone to his own land. So you got to, like, there's going to be, these people that's Ishmael going to go back to Ishmael land, wherever, wherever their respective, because they got different, because they tell Christians about how, Christianity is this and that, but they don't tell you that they have different sectors of Islam. They got different way that this person believes in Islam, so their whole thing ain't cohesive. Right along with the so-called Christians, your thing is not cohesive, right? So you're all wrong, right? So that's why this truth is for us, man, right? Of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is for us, because that's why even with us, man, when you don't have the right prophets and the right teachers, well, it says it's like it's a child that's untamed, so to speak, and do his own thing. And that's what you have with these other Israelite camps, man. Right? Because like you got Bishop Nate, who was under Apostle Tahar, right? They were there. Even what's his name? Zabak, he was there when the seven was there, and truth be told, Pastor Har was amongst the seven. You know what I mean? I mean, he wasn't part of the seven, but he was amongst them, and they bounced ideas off of each other, and everybody knew there were certain levels that Apostle Har had in. So why wouldn't you all? But you're doing your own thing. You're a willful child, will do his own thing, But that's just what it is. So it says, flee everyone into his own land, right? And you got people doing that now, but it's going to increase. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, right? Well, what I just read earlier about being thrust through with the sword, or you're going to go through to another city and get thrust through with the sword and fall and perish and die, right? And everyone that is joined unto them, whatever group is found, when they're fighting, when friends are fighting like enemies, you're gonna kill each other. Everyone that is found is thrust. Everyone that's found joined unto them shall fall by the sword, right? And people are fighting. They're doing this for lack of bread. They're fighting. Hey, they're going to get thrust through. It says their children also shall be dashed into pieces, right? And their eyes, also before their eyes, and their houses shall be spoiled, right? See, they're going to spoil for the lack of bread, right? And their wives, what? Ravished. These are the time they're going to live in very savage times, man. Very savage times. Right? So call Lord Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To sisters, Yuachwathim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and a Bible ball, Kwame Asherallah.